What's going on, everybody? Doc Average Gamer Guys back yet again. More Escape from Tarkov action in another episode of our Barter Weapon only series. I still have some allergy stuff going on. Summer kicks my butt. Here's what we got here. Let's take a look at this bad boy. We got the RPKT Mod-1 today. Pretty interesting gun, actually. I'm actually very excited to run this. This is a short barrel AK-104. Chambered 7.62 by 39, so we're getting that solid BP ammo. Very excited. We got some interesting stats here. 74 vertical recoil, 173 horizontal recoil. We got 43 ergonomics, which I think is going to be the hindrance you would kind of expect with a little bit of a shorter barrel gun, that we would get the opportunity to run this and have a little bit better ergonomics. I think probably what's hurting this is the drum magazine. If we take a look at it, it's 69 ergo without. If we throw just a standard one in, it's 68. This may be the way to adjust running this barter only weapon, but we'll throw it in there. Let's really quick take a look. This is barterable from Mr. Mechanic, as we have basically stuck with him. You can see it here. It's 5 GP coins, which, as a quick price evaluation, as of the recording of this video, is about 40,000. So we're talking about 200k for this weapon. I am not sure. It becomes available at level 1. I do believe, and I'll check this in the intermission before the raid, I do believe this is a quest completion reward. So while it's available at level 1, it may not be available for level 1 for everybody, but I will validate that, and I should have taken a look at that prior to, but I didn't. Okay. I'm not sure when I'm putting in this in here. It may be at the very end, or it may be at the beginning. I said at one point that I was going to tell you when this barter becomes available. I'm going to do that right now. So barter from Mechanic becomes available after you complete corporate secrets. If you're not familiar, it's a lighthouse task. You have to find 2 basically documents in the water treatment facility, and you have to grab them, get out, and then turn them into Mechanic. That quest becomes available after farming part 3, and then you're able to go in. So again, while this is a level 1 barter, you do have to complete corporate secrets in order to get access to this barter, which actually makes a lot of sense considering the attachments that you have on it. So hopefully that was helpful for you. You can get to farming relatively quickly. Farming part 3 relatively quickly. You have to be above level 14 to start the quest. Obviously have done farming part 1 and farming part 2, but they are not the most difficult quests to be able to do. So you should have some viability if you focus on quests. Getting this by probably trader level 1 or 2, I think, is pretty reasonable. So hope that helps. So we got some decent stuff on this. I think statistically this weapon sets up pretty nicely. I would like to take a look for pretty close to meta mutant, what we're getting for stats. So if you take a mutant, and obviously this is a different weapon, so this isn't a fair comparison. What would be better is building an actual 104 and trying to make that as meta as possible, specifically for recoil and ergonomics. You're seeing that you get much less ergonomics actually with this, but the recoil adjustment for a weapon is 56 and 140 comparatively. So you definitely have, there's some room probably for some recoil adjustment, and that's a decent comparison. Other than that, you get a decent grip here. 11 ergonomics on this Tapco saw. This is actually kind of an underrated pistol grip for building AKs. You do get this RRD. I don't know. This is definitely probably the best, or one of the best muzzle brakes for AK style weapons if you're not going silenced. Absolutely monstrous from recoil reduction, really no hit from ergonomics, and then you get bonuses to everything else. So muzzle velocity, a reduction in durability, and good heat compensation. So that's a nice add. You get a dog leg, which is great. What's interesting to me is that this sight is mounted up forward on this B30. This is probably not the most preferable handguard, to be honest with you, but it does have some pretty good stats. You do get a B25U, which is absolutely awesome. This is the slanted RK1. Great for recoil and ergonomics. This is really among the best as well. So you get some solid attachments with this. I'm going to do 2 changes. The emote, I should have talked about that. The emote is also very, very good. This is definitely a very well put together rifle from the consideration of what kind of additional modifications you're getting for it. At a 200K price tag as well, I want to quickly look. You're looking at about 20K for that. You're looking at 50K if you can buy it from traders, upwards of 100 just for the B25, which is really nice. I think this is super cheap, 13K. And you have the sight at, I'll call it 40. I really do prefer this sight. I love the XPSs. And I don't think this is too expensive either. $47, 20K-ish, right around there. So all in all, the attachments by themselves are really, really solid. These mags as well, I think are in the 30Ks if you can buy them from Purpore, 50 if you're buying it off the flea. So I would say from a total price perspective, this is really good. I don't know actually what a standard AK-104 costs, and I don't even know if he sells one. I do this every video. You'd think I would realize that I do this every time, or I don't actually look. I think he sells, Purpore I think sells the AK-104, 103, 104. So 53 for the base version of this. And if we look at the base version stats, 109, 253, 55 ergonomics, comes as a pretty decent package just out the gate. But obviously we want some major recoil and ergonomics adjustments here. So I think from a value perspective, it's pretty good. I was asked in a previous video to do this, and I didn't put any major thought through this, but I'll come up with a scale at the end and kind of give my highlights on a couple of different things. I'm going to talk about value. I want to talk about like handling, which is going to be more so probably related to ergonomics, but also recoil control. Those two things are really important. The ability to bring the weapon up fast and engage a target, especially with a short barrel rifle, is going to be important. So I have high expectations for that. In addition to, it's got to be able to handle, you got to be able to put shots on target. So we'll go through that. That's going to be really specific to the recoil. Outside of that, we'll just talk about usability and where I think it is a good fit. I'm going to do two things. So there's two things. I'm going to be taking this to interchange. There's two things I don't like. I don't like the sight. This is just like a common thing I see with this. It's like an auto mod type function where they put the sight up front. I really don't like that. We're going to put it back on the dog leg, so we're going to make that one adjustment. The other thing is, especially running interchange, I have to have a flashlight. So we're going to throw a flashlight on there. You could put a laser as well. I think that'd be one or two additions that you have. And other than that, we're going to rock and roll. You can see we got our kit on. I've got an LBCR. So we're going to rock this just so we can bring an additional 75 rounder, and then we'll have a couple 30 rounders in backup. We'll do that. If you're not familiar with the series, we take this gun, we go run some raids, and we test it out. We're going to go to interchange with this. Hopefully that raid goes well. If it does, we'll pop into a factory and we'll try to get, and we're purely pushing PvP and killing scavs just to get a good feel for the weapon. So without further ado, let's jump in. See you in the raid. All right, so in full transparency, you may not have actually seen the first interchange run with this gun. Oh, that's mostly because it went terribly and I got kind of camped on. So, round two. So we may do the camping ourselves here, which is why my kit might look a little bit different. Somebody did just turn power on. Yep. I'm honestly going to wait to see if we get any transitions into the front here. I can't tell if that walking was above. It was extremely faint. Like extremely faint.
Вон он упырь! О, вижу их!
I don't even see this guy. I have a natural habit to reload after an initial engagement, so I need to get out of with these big drum mags. I did our factory raid again. This is the second iteration of trying this in here, and I did the same thing when we were doing that. Getting like no transitions from the back. Okay, so somebody's voicing at somebody. It's a scav.
Вон он!
Oh, it works in single shot mode. God dang it. That's so mean. That was terrible. This poor guy. I got that hit there. Range feels pretty good. Again, in single shot. Woo! Scared me.
Упырь!
Where are you? He wasn't up top, was he? Fuck did this scav go? My tracking has been, I feel like, pretty trash lately. I think part of it is because I'm still, like, my head is still congested.
Вон он, сука!
Here's you.
Шалава!
Where was the scav I shot over here?
Шалава!
Hey, what are you shooting at me? What do I say about this? So I've had experience. So again, this will probably be the raid that you see because we've actually gotten into some PvP and killed a guy. The recoil pattern, and I'll show this at the end of the factory raid. The recoil pattern for this is just, it is rough. And the problem ends up being, which is the problem with almost all of the complaints with recoil right now, is that the initial spray is like so uncontrollable. Like this thing jumps like crazy and is just, it's just really, really hard to control. It does come back and settle. I would say this weapon settles probably, it's not great. I guess is a good way of saying it. The 75 rounders are fun. It pulls pretty fast. The single shot taps feel really good. I will say that for this. That's definitely a positive. But like handling good, recoil not, if that makes sense.
Кепка, кепка! Чё, забыл, кто тебе батон в будку закидывает?
Are you coming back?
Фары врубай, вафел!
Okay, I think we get out of here. We got a good little bit of action here. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, nice little raid. We got that quick little head tap on that guy. Killed a couple of scavs. Moved around pretty well. And got some stuff done, so. Better than the first interchange run, I will tell you that. All right, let's see how factory treats us. See how this thing does here.
Это чё за хрень?
Ergo? Good. Recoil? Not good. Push, 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 push. I should do this first. Woo! Holy shit. Thanks for the stuff, guys. Oh my god. Oh, this poor guy. We did not kill this guy. This guy's sag it up. That was a interesting fight. Yeah, interesting. This was interesting. This is I don't know how I feel about it. It's hard to say. One thing I know is I really don't want to run these mags, these big boys. Let's go fight a few scavs. Recoil is very difficult to handle. Hipfire, though, I will tell you, the hipfire feels really good. Ow. That, like, really hurt. Like, a lot. Like, I'm gonna leave because of that. Oh my god. Ah. Like, look at the initial recoil pattern. It's pretty, that's pretty rough. That was a fun little raid though. We got 2. The BP definitely coming in action. We shot a lot of rounds for not a lot of hits. Probably tells you what you need to know. Okay, so at this point, like I said, apologize. What I hope you realize is that while I don't want to, I'm not trying to show a raid where I absolutely win. The first interchange run we did was a whole lot of nothing. It was running to some shots and then getting kind of ratted on. And so the second interchange run, which is where we just came off of, but is gonna look a little weird because we're gonna throw the factory in run after that. So I apologize for all of that, but we want to make sure with this, I want to give these weapons a really fair test, get into some CQB, get some scavs killed, get a good feel for the gun, running around using it, and that's just the order that we had to go in. So as it sits right now, here's what I'm thinking. Here's my feelings. Here is my feelings. I like the gun. I think it's pretty cool. I think there are definitely some things that make this a positive, and I definitely think there's some drawbacks. So, again, appreciate the comment from a previous video. I came up with a couple of different categories to score these in. Number one, I'm going to start with value. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but I'll chat on that. I'm going to do these one out of 5, all right? 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. I'm going to break down handling, and I'm going to include 2 subcategories to handling, ergo and recoil. I think both are extremely important. There are certain situations where you want one or the other or both, and so I think it's fair to break those 2 subcategories down and then give an overall value to handling. I'm going to call it the cool guy factor is the third criteria, if you will, because part of why I came up with the series in the first place is I would like to try some of the guns that just look really cool, and I think I'm going to kind of continue on this series when we run out of barter weapons with just some cool, neat looking rifles and guns that we just mod for fun and make them look really neat. So I want to throw that in here, and then overall I'll give a viability. It's gonna call it usability, but I'll call it viability, which is kind of like the overall, should you pick this gun up, should you run it in a raid, and can you use it, basically. Lastly, I'm just gonna cover not a score, but I'm gonna talk about where I think the gun would shine if you were to pick it up. So let's start with value. I gave value a 5 out of 5. With all of the attachments that you get, the B25, the mag, the pistol grip, your stock here, the sight, your muzzle brake, I think overall this is a very neat package. The gun's about 54K from per. You're spending about 200K on this, depending on the value of GP coins. If you're going into raids and you're hitting customs and you're doing a bunch of safes and you're finding GP coins and you want to try this, just save them up. Just save them up completely. I think this is a really good value wise, overall, I gave it a 5 because I think you're definitely making out on the back end. Even if you just wanted to pull some of the attachments like the sight, the foregrip, the mag, and like the stock, probably almost pay for itself, just about. And just remember that there's no flashlight on this normally. So value, gave it a 5. Handling, overall, I gave it a 2. Here's why. Ergo, even with the 75 round drum mag, an ergo of 42, this thing felt like it pulled up very quickly. If you were to not run the 75 rounders and run instead 30 rounders, you're up into like this high 60s for ergo, and that is absolutely awesome. Gun pulls up quick. It's exactly what you would want, I feel like, in a CQB situation. The factory raids were a good example of that. I was pulling up and at least getting, well, I won't say shots on target, but I was getting on target very quickly. Recoil is where this struggled and why handling overall got a 2 for me. I gave recoil a 2. The initial jump of this gun is very difficult to control. I'm not surprised by that. You see that with a lot of the other AK style weapons, which is what makes them difficult to use. If you're not putting like long barrels on them and the longest hand guards and really focus on recoil reduction. With those things being said, even the pattern after the initial jump did jump around a lot. It was very, it had a very wide circle, and I felt like for that reason, recoil was a 2. It's not the worst recoil gun I've ever used, but it's not great either, especially when you can do a lot better. And I would be interested to see, and I'm going to probably take this gun and do some modifications on it. You can make some really solid 104 builds. This just isn't it. All right, so overall recoil, gave it a 2 for an overall handling of 2. Cool by factor, 4. I like the way it looks. Outside of the sight being up here, which definitely has its usability like in real life, you got to move that thing back for this game, in my opinion. Other than that, though, this thing looks pretty neat. For a 104 build, I like it. I like that you get a 75 round drum mag. I like that you're rocking the Premier foregrip here. It looks pretty neat. I may have swapped this pistol grip out for a different color and just went with the black one because I think that would have made this look overall a little bit better. But other than that, I like it. I think it's cool. It's a neat looking CQB weapon. So 4 for a cool guy factor, which is, you can totally disagree with any of these in the comments down below. That one is purely subjective. So viability, I gave it a 2.5. Here's why. There are situations where I think this gun could be used. Not many of them. And I was leaning close to 2, so maybe 2 to 2.5 is more of a fair ranking to give this. You can't run this on many maps. I even felt like with interchange, the engagement distance in interchange was too long. I will tell you, and this will be the last section, where to use this. CQB. If you want to go run factory with this, good gun. Good gun to go do that. The hipfire spray felt really, really good, to be honest with you. With 75 rounds, you're going to get plenty of opportunity to hit things. That's where I would put this. CQB operations. So definitely has maybe some limited use in those situations. Where else would I use this outside of CQB situations? So map specific. I would take this thing to factory. I'd probably take it to customs with the expectation that you're going to run to stronghold, to crack house, or to dorms. If you're in any of those 3 locations on this on that map, I feel like this thing would do okay for you. You're going to be able to put a lot of suppressive fire down a hallway in dorms. You're going to be able to move forward and just hip fire this thing and probably have some success running BP in dorms or in stronghold. Crack house, again, you should be able to clear this relatively effectively without having to worry about reloading. Where you're going to really struggle is anything that's not in a building or really close range. That's why I would not really recommend this for probably any other map, with the exception of maybe reserve. You could definitely give it a go probably on labs too, but reserve would be the other one I would say probably fits the most if you're planning on fighting the underground. If you're planning on fighting the underground and working through the tunnels and going to, kill raiders and do all that stuff, this feels pretty good. There's lots of buildings on reserve too, so you could probably do okay there. But don't get yourself caught out in the train station area or run into the no backpackless extract or anything like that, because you're probably not going to be able to put pretty efficient rounds on target. I will say, with that being said, single shot did feel really good. So if you're really good or you want to put this in single and tap away, I do feel like that is viable. But running against PMCs to try to do that, you better have really good head taps or you're probably going to die. So 2.5 overall for viability. Use it in CQB, factory, customs, maybe reserve. Get close, get personable. Use the hip fire spray. Throw a laser or a flashlight on this. You should be good to go. So hopefully this was fun for you. I am really enjoying making this series, and hopefully you're enjoying it. I got to take a look to see what additional barter weapons and see what else we want to do for the next one. If you've got any suggestions down below, please drop them in the comments. I'd love to run some and try some of the ones that you guys and gals are suggesting. I'm going to quickly just close this out. Like, comment, subscribe for YouTube. We do appreciate all the support. If you're watching the series or popping in the channel for the first time, first of all, thank you so much. Just watching the video, getting to this point is really helpful, and throwing some engagement with a like and a comment, always, we do appreciate it. If there's anything that you disagree with me in my ratings, let me know down below. Give the weapon a try for yourself. Pretty fun. Yeah, I'm gonna throw some socials at you too while we try to close this thing out. We got a Twitter, we got a Twitch, we got a Discord, and a TikTok. Give us some follows on that. All the links are in the description. We do stream Fridays and Saturdays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, over on Twitch, usually on Sundays and randomly throughout the week when we can. We'd love to see you live. We love to run guns and stuff like this when we're live sometimes too, and have a good time. Been having a blast lately, actually, just pushing PvP, trying to get some quests and some things done with some friends. So we'd love to see you over there. TikTok, Twitter, Discord, all that good stuff. Keep up to date with us. We'd love to have you in our communities and be able to chat with you and hang out. So feel free to join us. With that, close it out. Doc, Average Gamer Guys, as always, thanks for watching. Catch you next Escape Tarkov Barter Only Weapon video. Peace.